So it's a little bit outside of my typical research, but there's a very interesting case that's just been resolved in Nova Scotia with Vicky Levesque. And I think it's an amazing example of um, how our legislation can work towards remedying discrimination in the area of housing and the right to live in the community. So Vicky spent a lot of her she's a very young woman, institutionalized because she couldn't locate appropriate housing and supports in her community. And so you can imagine being a young person in your 20s living in an institution where dating is restricted and outings with your friends is restricted and inviting people to visit you during certain times is restricted, and it's just not appropriate housing for any young, vital person, whether or not they have a disability. So she took her government to court, and I'm sure you can read up on the case more fully, but it's an amazing example of how she just pushed at the system until she found a remedy. And now the Nova Scotian government has, I think it's 5 years to completely remedy the situation. And there's some benchmarks they have to meet in between. But just to note, in studying that case, to know is that had there not been a remedy within our country, the next step for Vicky and the legal team working with her would have been to go to the international courts on using the optional protocol, which is one of the few legal things that we have to rely on uh, if we can't meet our needs in our own country.